Hello there, everybody. If you don't know this, I usually stream Rocket League. Well, it's one of the games I start streaming. Well, I start with when I start streaming, right? Most of the times, I start with the tournament and whatnot. Currently, I'm like diamond something, and this dude or this video I just randomly came across why Rocket League is not a tier one esport, and I was wondering what it was about. Not that I'm gonna make it an esports anytime soon, because I'm ass at the game. But yeah, let's see.
Car. Ball.
Hit ball.
Hit ball with car. Launch car into the air, hit ball with car. Launch car into air, flip car, and send ball flying top bins into the other team's net. Ah, the beautiful game. As the esports industry continues to grow, more and more developers are trying to build competitive games that can rake in millions of dollars.
I thought Demon Slayer was a good game to have with esports. Like, would be very good competitively like Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
And
But I
millions
was
of
wrong.
viewers. One developer trying to become the next big esport is Psyonix with their game Rocket League. With
Honestly, why
millions
not?
of dollars in prize pools and a seemingly endless stream of clippable moments, could Rocket League be the next big esport? Or, a better question, why isn't it one of the biggest esports already?
Probably the
Today,
learning curve is
we're
hard.
going to find out.
I don't know. I mean, it is.
First
but
off, for those who have never
Hold on.
heard of this game before, let's quickly explain what Rocket League is. It's soccer with cars. Rocket-powered cars that flip and drive on the ceiling and do this to put the ball in the net.
Keeps it alive. Teleposite there. Bounces into the corner. Energy still around. Justin is there for the shot. Justin! This is Rocket League.
that was
While
such a
on
nice
surface,
bounce.
the
Though.
game seems pretty simple, the skill ceiling is incredibly high,
Yeah.
Oh my God! What the fuck?
and the mechanics
I'm dead.
and tactics you have to learn are incredibly complex. Like most great hobbies, Rocket League is easy to pick up, but very difficult to master.
Well, for me, I think it has to do with the pure uniqueness of
Damn.
the game. If you are a Rocket League fiend, there's nothing else that can scratch the Rocket
Is
League
that
edge
Rocket
other than
League
Rocket
games
League.
that
There's
are
no
not-
competitors. It's like if you like shooters, pick Rainbow Six, pick Valorant, Counter-Strike Go, anything you want.
Maybe
there's
even COD,
options out there.
but COD doesn't
Whereas
have.
with Rocket League was a game that no one even thought was possible. I mean, it was just a game that came out of nowhere, and it was
Right.
just a simple game. It was easy to pick up and play, but you could just see that this game would take forever to master. And I mean, I'm over 5,500 hours in,
Damn.
and I'm still like not close to mastering it. And I feel like it's just one of those games where people will just keep getting better and better and better and better. So the replayability is there. It's a simple game, but I just think it's so unique. It's so fun. It's so pure that I'll just keep coming back for more.
When Rocket League officially launched on July 7th, 2015, it was an instant hit, reaching a peak player count of 29,000 in its first
I don't
month,
know.
and
Well,
increasing that count to
I think I heard of it.
50,000
I
by
don't know.
2016, it was clear that Rocket League had a lot of potential. Psyonix also quickly realized that apart from being a lot of fun, Rocket League was a competitive title. And with players quickly pushing to the limits of what the developers thought was possible, they began developing Rocket League esports. Jeremy Dunham, the vice president of Psyonix, said, quote, "We're really excited about the prospects there and the fact that people really latched onto our game. We never went in with the intention of specifically being a successful esport. We knew we had the chops for it, that we had the groundwork, but it's all about the community and the players and
That's
whether they
true.
deem you worthy of being one." On March 2nd, 2016, the Rocket League Championship Series was announced, with the first season featuring online open qualifiers in Europe and North America. Through the qualifiers, each region would send 4 teams to compete in the finals with a $55,000 prize pool on the line. The finals took place on August 6th and 7th at Avalon Hollywood, an arena that sat 1,500 fans. When all was said and done, Team iBuyPower took down Flipside Tactics in the finals, and OverZero was named the tournament MVP. While the next 2 seasons of the RLCS featured league play within the regions, teams still had to qualify each season through open qualifiers to compete. However, the 4th season introduced a proper league format with a relegation system and the Rocket League Rival Series, the second
wow.
division in the RLCS. For the next 6 seasons, this league play format would be the norm. But in the 10th season of Rocket League, an open circuit point system was introduced. The circuit system featured 3 regional splits, fall, winter, and spring, where teams competed within their own region to earn points to qualify for that split's international major, with the ultimate goal being to earn a spot at the World Championship. As each season has come and gone, the RLCS has continued to grow in viewership, which isn't at all surprising considering how wide of a reach the game has on multiple levels.
Rocket League is a game for everyone. It's very easy to watch. You don't even have to play it to make judgments on who's the best player on the field, which is mind-blowing. You know, you can have your mom and dad, cousins, brother, sister, anybody sit down and watch it for the first time, and they'll be able to point out who the best player on the field is, which is not really the case for a lot of other games. And it's just very easy to understand, and it's very non-controversial. It's just a really pure sports-like game. That is the foundation of the entire esport, is the game itself. And if you have gold at the foundation of your game, which is the game itself, then it really opens up so many doors, so many possibilities, so much potential for your esport into the future, where you're only really limited by your ideas and also the hard work that you put into making the game get more reach and get successful.
While Rocket League esports can be viewed as a success for most fans, Psyonix knows there's a lot more that can be done. For Psyonix, there's a clear goal in mind, as Cliff Schumacher, the esports director at Psyonix, explained in an interview, quote, "We still know it's relatively new in the grand scheme of things. There's still a ton of room to go, but every day we're getting smarter and smarter about how we take this thing to where the vision is. My role here is to make it as easy as possible to hit that goal of making it absolutely an upper tier 1 esport moving forward." Okay, let's take a step back for a moment. What exactly is a tier 1 esport, and why is it so important? Honestly, it's a little bit hard to nail down, and on the whole, it's a subjective title. But generally, the esports community has come to a consensus of what constitutes a tier 1 versus a tier 2 esport. For the purpose of this video, we're going to take into account 3 metrics: event prize pools, overall viewership, and global player base. To set a benchmark, we can look at the 3 games that have consistently been considered a tier 1 esport for the better part of a decade: CSGO, Dota 2, and of course, League of Legends.
I think when people talk about the tiers of esports, I mean, it's all still very subjective.
I haven't played Dota 2.
I think the consensus is you need the kind of visibility and viewership that something like CS has, or League of Legends.
I mean, I could download it right now and try it out.
People don't talk about Rocket League in the same breath as those titles. And I think maybe the biggest hurdle is that even though, you know, Psyonix is now owned by Epic Games and you have that media giant behind them, it still doesn't get the kind of exposure that Counter-Strike gets, that League of Legends gets from Riot. They just have this massive budget that they pour into promoting their esport, and I think a lot of that comes from the players. I think everybody kind of knows who Bjergsen is. Everybody knows who Simple is. Rocket League, the closest we've come to that is maybe Kronovi. People outside of Rocket League don't really know who Kronovi is. They don't know who, you know, the best players today are, like Monkey Moon or K-Dop or any of those guys.
See, I play Rocket League, but the only ones I really watch from, I guess, pro teams or ex-pros is Left, Arsenal sometimes, and sometimes rarely Musty. But I haven't watched Arsenal or Musty in a while. I just started watching Reddles a while ago. But they said Kronovi, I don't know who that is, bro. Like, it's crazy because I be joining communities and I don't even know who the best at the games are. I just try to get better at it. But yeah, I don't know who that is.
And I don't know how we get those names out there.
With regard to prize pools, Rocket League is up there with the big boys, especially after being acquired by Epic Games. With the championship steadily growing over the past 7 years from 100K to 500K to 1 million and now $2 million, Rocket League's prize pools are comparable to that of League of Legends. However, despite all the money, Rocket League struggles to bring in the same kind of viewers as the other big dogs, with Rocket League's peak viewership struggling to even match the average viewership for League of Legends.
Damn.
It's an interesting topic because I actually just don't necessarily agree with this whole tiering thing. It's such a gamer way to look at things. I think like everything has to be on some sort of scale. You know, we got to rank up. to this next level as an esport, and it never made sense to me because, like, first off, who makes up the criteria for what a tier 1? Like, if a company like Psyonix is running an esport, they have their own internal reasons to continue supporting and running this, right? And it's disclaimer, I have no idea what those are. They don't tell me this, but I would assume that it has something to do with marketing, and as long as they're hitting their own internal numbers, or they are increasing every year, or there is some sort of return on investment, I don't see why it matters that anyone else considers it's a tier 1 esport, because they're not going to stop supporting it if they're hitting their own internal requirements for it, right? Like,
that makes sense.
So you don't have to worry, if we're not tier 1, it's not going to continue to support it. That's the only way it's successful. No, maybe internally it's already successful to the company.
And while players like Faker and Doublelift are household names around the world, Rocket League players really don't have the same kind of exposure or recognizability in mainstream esports. Then again, when there's so much money and the players clearly love the game, why worry about how others perceive you? Regardless of labels, one thing is certain. Rocket League has an incredibly successful esports scene, with huge sponsors like Ford, Mobile One, and Verizon, and big-name orgs like Gen.G just entering the scene. Rocket League is still on the upshot and growing every year. Which brings us to the third metric we talked about earlier, global reach. Psyonix has been working hard to break into new markets, and nowhere is that more apparent than in Asia, where Rocket League is still unavailable in two of the biggest esports regions in the world, China and Korea. Due to laws and regulations around game ratings, Rocket League has been unavailable for download in Korea ever since it moved to the Epic Games Store. This is due to the fact that Epic Games has a registered Korean branch and is therefore not considered a foreign company. Therefore, under Korean laws, the game has to be officially rated on the Korean system. But for whatever reason, Epic Games hasn't submitted the game for rating yet. Surely it wouldn't be too difficult to get the game rated. I mean, after all, it's just car soccer. Soccer.
I mean, I know in some places that they have like laws against gambling, but there's not really any gambling on this. You can't really buy like crates or the little things and then open them. You get them from playing the game. So, honestly, why?
But unfortunately, the only players in Korea who have access to the game right now are the ones who originally purchased the game on Steam before Psyonix was acquired by Epic. Meanwhile, in China, you can't download the real Rocket League, but you can download a dumbed-down version that features things like a trajectory indicator. Why this is a little bit murky, and honestly, the game kind of looks like three-dimensional 8-ball pool.
I mean, it's impossible to ignore that China and Korea have massive gamer bases, massive populations, period.
Yeah.
I don't think Rocket League 100% needs them to thrive. It certainly helps. You look at how popular the esport is getting in like France with, I mean, the best players in the world are French, Saudi, Brazilian, and American for the most part. The game is massively popular in France, in Saudi Arabia, in Brazil, and in the United States. And, I think what we really need is for, kind of that next wave of pros to step up. I think the closest we've got is like the Evil Geniuses guys, the mostly German team. If they can step up and kind of take Europe by the horns, all of a sudden maybe more Germans get really into Rocket League. You've got some elite players from Canada, and maybe events move into Canada and have some events in Germany, have some events be in South America, Australia, try and generate more fandom from those parts of the world. I think that would certainly make up for what you lose by not having access to the game properly in a place like China.
Still, the community is filled with passionate and dedicated players and fans that will ensure.
That's true, but I'm still wondering why isn't it available in those places? Like, I'm just curious.
Sure that the game will have the same longevity as games like League of Legends. For the Rocket League community, as long as the game is fun and stays amazing to watch, and as long as new techniques and shots are being discovered and labbed every day, most simply don't care about things like esport tiers. They care about their game, and they're going to keep playing it forever.
I think Rocket League is the best esport out there. I think it's going to outlive many, many, many other games. And I wouldn't be surprised if it outlasts every other game out there because of how awesome I feel personally Rocket League is. It's just from a raw gameplay standpoint.
Rocket League don't need nobody. We're here, we're staying.
Nobody.
And I think years and years of us continually being here
Damn,
and
that's a crazy
growing
shot.
is proving that. We are Rocket League, and that's what we are. We're not any other esport. We will keep being Rocket League. And that's all we got to keep doing. So keep celebrating the game, and that's all that matters. As long as we're having fun with it, that is the core component of Rocket League. We don't need the other esports. Just keep being Rocket League.
That's crazy though.
This video is made possible thanks to our wonderful patrons. Massive thank you to everyone on this list, and shout out to B Cloud.
Yeah, let's see. One thing that hurts Rocket League is that the skill set is completely unique to the game. With shooters and MOBA and fighters, to some extent, you can take the skills, from one title and apply it to another. With Rocket League, you basically only have Rocket League. This makes it harder to funnel in people from other games. Top of that, the most common thing I hear people who tried is about how hard it is. People really either stick with it or get discouraged. That's true. It's the only game that of its kind, and you can't if you played like COD for a lot of your life, you could switch over to like other shit, like other games like Rainbow Six Siege. It might take you a little bit to learn the mechanics in Rainbow, like the tilt and all that, but I don't think it'll take you down. With unique skill set, it's also its biggest strength. If you watch car soccer, you can only watch Rocket League. But if you watch MOBA or maybe a battle royale shooter, that is true. But I also feel like those titles might be also a lot bigger. So even though there's a lot in that section, it's a lot bigger. So even when it spreads out, they're still getting like 5 billion views each. While Rocket League has a smaller viewership and smaller fan base because it's car soccer or whatever. So yeah. But like, subscribe. See you guys later. Hope you have a good day or night, and bye. Check out my Twitch channel. Bye.